Guys, what's good? It's your boy Phil. Today we are talking about Record of Ragnarok Chapter 59 previews and predictions. Chapter should be coming out pretty soon. If not this week, then definitely next week. So get ready for that. Who knows? Maybe we get a nice, juicy, saucy double chapter drop. Haven't had one of those. Yeah, I don't think we've had one of those for this round yet. So maybe we get one. Who knows? Gonna do a little bit on that, because there's a few things I want to talk about, a few things that I really want to see from this chapter for sure. Particularly, you guys already know where I'm going for this. I've said it like 8 times by now. My fucking boy Hades. Please, do something. But we're going to talk about that for a little bit. Quick plug, by the way, I'm going to be streaming Elden Ring tomorrow when the game drops. I can't wait for this fucking game, dude. I've been waiting since they announced this game. I am going to play the shit out of this game. So drop by if you want to see me die a bunch in this game. But without further ado, Record of Ragnarok 59 previews and predictions. Let's do this shit. All right, Hades needs to do something. He needs to do something, man. I'm sick and tired of this dude just flailing around his staff and shit and just doing like fucking staff moves and shit. No. I want this dude to do something. I want him to use some crazy ass mythological lore power that I know he has. We've gone through a bunch of them in the course of this round already. We've talked about how this dude could possibly do some home field advantage, like undead sorcery, necromancy type shit. He has invisibility. This is a thing that Hades has. I didn't know this. I had to look this up. This dude, one of his powers is invisibility. Why isn't he using that shit? And a whole bunch of other shit. I don't want it to just be him with a staff. I don't want it to just be that. Maybe he's gonna conjure up some water powers, right? Since he does have my boy Poseidon's like staff relic part in his staff. So we're gonna see, man. I really want Hades to do something next chapter. And the spotlight is kind of on Qin right now. He has the upper hand, I feel, even though he took a hell of a lot of damage in the past 2 chapters. The spotlight is definitely on him, which is important to remember. Last chapter was important. It was important because we saw him use different forms of his fighting technique that we hadn't seen before. So he whipped out, what did he whip out? He whipped out the crossbow, I think. He whipped out some other shit. So we saw that, right? And he has 2 others that he's going to most likely use next chapter. So we might have the full arsenal of Qin done by next chapter, which is exciting. That's very exciting. We also got his eye power, right? That was pretty cool. So Qin is running out of fuel, running out a lot of fuel. I don't know how much more they could add to his arsenal. We've seen it done before, right? Where new abilities just come out of nowhere for the character. So we'll see if that happens with Qin as well. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens. I could also foresee a backstory chapter, right? I have this feeling that the next chapter is going to revolve around Hades. I think it's going to revolve around Hades because Qin, to me, it seems, has had the spotlight for at least the past 2 or 3 chapters, right? They've been mostly about him. So I think we're due for a Hades chapter. I don't know if it's going to be backstory, right? A flashback, something. Will we see like Persephone and shit like that? Will we see him in the underworld doing some underworldly shit? Maybe. I don't know. But I have this feeling. I just have this feeling that it's going to be a Hades backstory or a Hades upper hand chapter where it's a primary Hades chapter. So I think that's what I'm shouting out. I think that's what I think is going to happen. A Hades chapter. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to actually, use his new... Is he going to show us something new in terms of fighting, right? Is there going to be a new power or some shit? I don't know about all that. But I think Hades, we're going to get some Hades action next chapter for sure. And it's exciting. I think it's going to happen. I really do. Knock on wood. I think this shit is going to happen. Another thing to remember though, is the home field advantage, right? This is something that we talked about when the chapter first started, when the whole stadium was ornate with like underworldly shit. I think this is something that's gonna happen like in the last chapter of this fight, where something happens with the stadium and Hades ultimately does some crazy shit. I think that's probably gonna happen in the last chapter of this fight. I've seen a lot of discussion about it lately, that the home field advantage is going to be important, and I do think it is going to be important, but I think this is some trump card type shit. I don't think he's going to use that right away. My boy Hades, that is. So that's also something to keep in mind. I don't think we necessarily see that next chapter. I think next chapter has a really good possibility of being a Hades flashback chapter. Or it could just be straight up combat. I mean, now that I think about it, we've had like back-to-back-to-back combat chapters, right? These guys have been, this is a slugfest, bro. These guys have been fighting like nothing, which is insane. And hey, maybe we continue that. Maybe we continue that. Maybe the pace just doesn't drop and they keep swinging at each other. That's cool. I'm down with that. But at the same time, I feel like we have not had, and this is scary too. This is scary. I feel like we haven't had a lot of development for my boy Hades. This guy was introduced in the last round, right? We see him sit down on his throne, and now all of a sudden he's gonna fight. But what do we really know about this guy Hades? That's what I'm trying to say. What do we really know about this dude? Not much. I mean, we know about Hades because we know about mythology and shit. We know he's the underworld ruler and shit. We know he's associated with death and all this kind of cool stuff. But what do we really know about this Hades in this series? Not much. That's why I think we're going to get the backstory. That's why I think we're going to get the flashback next chapter. So look out for that. We might get like a few chapters, not a few chapters, few pages, I should say, of combat and shit. Because now we have cool like chi-like abilities popping up with Qin. And we got cool air blasts and stuff happening. Cool wacky shit is happening with my boy Qin on his side for sure. But at the same time, Hades, what are you doing? So something that important happened last chapter was this Qin Shi Huang thing where he took self-damage, right? That's what we think it is. He took self-damage due to the power of either his bowl under his eyes or something. When he hit Hades with the spear form, with his little two-finger spear form, hit him in the gut, he had a wound in the same spot. So that's something to keep in mind. That's something that's brand new from last chapter, and this is probably going to be a recurring thing going forward in future chapters where Qin is going to have to use his abilities, right? He's going to use his different forms and everything, but he's going to take self-damage. Now, I don't know if it's just with the spear form or if it's just with his eyes when he used the eye ability and he found his weak points and all that shit. It got the fucking critical hits off him and shit. I don't know if it's either that or that, but regardless, self-damage is kind of cool. That's a cool thing. It happens a lot in like anime and manga and shit. And that's a thing that's brand new to Record of Ragnarok. First off, I think, right? Have we had self-damage before? I don't think we have, but regardless, that's pretty cool. And it's probably gonna be it's gonna be an important factor, an important theme going forward in this fight. So I would not be surprised if next chapter, in chapter 59, if there's some more self-damage shenanigans going on, because it seems if you go and reread the portion of the chapter where he takes the self-damage, and if you go to the last page, it looks like Hades is onto something. Hades he's thinking, he's intrigued by the eye ability of my boy Qin, and also why he's taking damage like that. So is Hades gonna find a way to exploit that? Is Hades gonna find a way to, I don't know, cure that or some shit? He has a change of heart, who knows? But he has that on his radar. He has that on his radar for sure. And you know, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy if Qin goes down to self-damage. And I would be really interested in how Hades handles that. I feel like Hades would be a little pissed off if Qin died to self-damage. That'd be crazy. I feel like Hades would be pissed off. I feel like Hades would try and pull some underworld shit, maybe resurrect him from the dead or something so he could fight him legitly or something like that. Yeah, it's so interesting. I feel like this round is this is a deep round. I feel this is a round that's not like cookie cutter. This isn't a cookie cutter round. This isn't just giant boss guy versus other giant boss guy. No, these are two complex and deep characters. Well, I shouldn't say that, but their arsenals I'm talking about their arsenals go pretty damn deep, and the possibilities of their arsenals are really deep. That's what I'm excited for. So for next chapter, just to wrap everything up, I'm looking at Qin's self-damage. I'm looking at the rest of his forms, of his fighting forms. I think we have the sword and the halberd left. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm looking for those for sure. One of them is probably going to be like a kick or something, but who knows? He had air blasts, so it could be some other wacky shit like that. I'm looking at Hades. I'm looking at Hades to do something. Do something next chapter. Or a flashback. I'm cool with a flashback too. Something like that. That's what I'm looking at, and that's pretty much it. Those are the main things on my radar for Record of Ragnarok 59 and 60 if we get the double chapter. Guys, that's the video. Let me know down below. What are some of your thoughts, your predictions, your ideas about what's happening next chapter in Record of Ragnarok? Should be dropping next week or this week. Hopefully this week, right? I feel like we might have to wait a little bit longer for this chapter since it dropped at the beginning of February technically, and February is a short month, so we might be waiting till like the first week of March, I think, for this chapter. So stay tuned for that. But as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.